I want to talk about maintenance a little bit because now that I am seeing literally all three viewpoints as a tenant, as a property owner, and as a property manager, may we just take a moment to show appreciation and gratitude for our portfolio managers and how hard they work. Because now that I'm in this role, holy crap, Lee, it's a lot.
I knew it was a lot when they separated the roles of the maintenance to the manager to the portfolio. Like they separated that role in JWB. You know what they were doing beforehand before they switched and said, I'm going to take care of the maintenance. I'm going to take care of the people. So I'm going to take, when they started splitting it out, you knew it was a lot of work that they were doing just for us. You know?
Okay, I have learned so much. Okay, first off, I even have some talking points. Okay, here we go. So there's the JWB standard of maintenance versus, let's just say, my standard working for Pacific Grove Property Management. Okay, I'm just gonna, and then there's the standard of the do-it-yourself or landlord. Okay, so there's three standards, right? Okay, so let's go with the JWB standard of maintenance. So first off, most of the time before a tenant moves in, the property has been remodeled. So it's either a new property that's been freshly built, yay for those tenants moving into a brand new. How sexy is that? Nothing's going to break down in that thing. Or like the 7 properties that we own, they're all older homes, all remodels. So, you know, and then there's the occasional time where the tenant hasn't moved out yet and it still needs to be remodeled, but at least it's on par and on schedule to be remodeled. So there's that JWB standard. So you know that everything's going to be working when the tenant moves in or soon will be, right? And there's that guarantee feeling, right? Then there is what Pacific Grove Property Management does. And these are higher end homes. Not that they're really that fancy, but because they're here on the Monterey Peninsula, their rent is going from, like, the cheapest house that I'm managing right now is $3,800 per month. Wow. And the higher end one that's actually getting a new tenant this Saturday is $4,900 per month.
Wow.
Yeah. Monterey, Pacific Grove. So anyway, but the thing is that none of these are standardized in their maintenance because they're all owned by different owners. They're all totally different types of properties. They're not going through a standard. For example, in a condo that I'm managing, I have to get approval for replacing a screen door, and it's only about $150, but I still have to go through this whole thing. So the fact that JWB has their own maintenance team handling that versus having to outsource to different subcontractors like I do through PGPM, then it's just a different feel. Is it difficult? No, but it is a lot more babysitting. And I'm not going to lie, I have to babysit the vendors because sometimes they're not really great about being good business people and they forget to send me an invoice. And then they're like, Jen, you haven't paid me on this. I'm like, I haven't received your invoice. And then he sends me a screenshot of his invoice on his phone. Dude, that doesn't translate well into my software. I need you to actually send me your invoice. Don't send me a screenshot on the phone. That's not, anyway, yeah. So, and then here's another aspect that I just learned the other day, and I was thoroughly shocked. Okay, you know how people have been talking about what's better to make more money? Is it long-term rentals or short-term rentals, Airbnb types? Here on the Monterey Peninsula, we've got 3 types of rentals, if you will. There's the long-term, obviously. I'm a long-term, 16 years here. Yes, we're used to that. But here in our peninsula, we have rules and laws around vacation rentals, because when Airbnb was allowing people to come in for 2 or 3 days and then leave, a lot of the city residents, they were like, we're voting, this is not happening. Here are the new rules. For certain sections of Pacific Grove, they have to rent for 30 days minimum or more. So it has to be a 30-day rental. So that kind of limits things. There are sections of Pacific Grove and Monterey that have a permit and they can do Airbnb. They are in certain locations. But there's a lot more work to the Airbnb side of things. And here is a really it's a shocker. When you are renting longer term, the tenants tend to be nicer and asking for things, like appreciative and asking permission for things. When it's an Airbnb, people have an entitlement mentality and they will often wreck the place. There is a property, thank God I'm not managing this one, but it's a beautiful property. This property is located just 1 block away from the water. It's called Mermaid Crossing. It's on Mermaid Lane. This property is so cherry. It is beautiful. It rents out for $500 a night. There was a recent tenant that literally vomited and shat on the bed before they left and did not clean it up. And they did something other also horrendous. But the fact that they destroyed the bed that's what we have to deal with. So I'm going to vote. Yeah, just be warned, Airbnb rentals can be more money, but they're a lot more work and they're a big pain in the butt. So there's my take. Thank you for my TED Talk on maintenance.
So much derby. Anyway,
gross.
So I was talking to you about the JWB contract that they have with the tenants, and I was impressed. I asked the portfolio manager to send me a blank one so I could kind of see what they were doing or what was in there, because I never looked. I never watched it, and I read it. And a lot of the things that were in there that were pretty cool were the washing machine or the refrigerator and microwave. I'm not sure whatever utilities that they put in there. They say if it breaks, it was put in there as a convenience, not like it would be in there forever. So if they needed a new one, they needed to replace it. And if they the other thing was a work order that came in for one of my houses. The group called me and said, "Hey, you need water treatment in one of your houses." And I knew that water treatment on Water Street. Great. So they said, "Here's 3 choices that you can use, and we recommend A. But you can go with any one you want." And I said, "We recommend A. I'm going to go with A." And they did it. And I said, "Did anybody follow up to find out?" And they said, "If you don't hear anything, it's good news." I'm like, "Okay, that's great." So, but I liked that JWB gave me the option of choosing between 3 different people. And hey, you can use these 3 contractors that we have, and they're all great, but we recommend this. And as far as I'm concerned, if they have a recommendation, that's what I'm going to go with. But they gave me the choice. It was up to me. It wasn't about money. It was about who they thought was the best one to do it, which I thought was cool.